Welcome to the Airmere Trading Group 1 meeting. Today is the 17th of December, 2019. So we've got 8 more shopping days before Christmas, or I guess really 7. So welcome everyone. And Bruno and I were just catching up. Bruno, do you have any updates for your software, the Rhino, etc.?
My software is doing okay. I'm just plugging in the Vol Surface, which works fine technically. I mean, the calculations all fine, but I still battle with data from IB, and I don't know. And sometimes I'm not a professional programmer. I'm pretty good at it, but I've got a guy who helps me because now that SOAP is. I think I've had about 100 downloads already, which is not too bad. The guy is helping me with beta testing that never took place because a lot of people initially were just curious about it, but then they didn't really help me with testing. And I mean, that guy is doing a good job. So yeah, the Vol Surface is absolutely fine, and it has actually validated the model I had in mind, which is I know it's going to sound a little bit fancy, but it's a nonlinear multiple regression based on 5 or 7 factors, and yeah, it's doing absolutely fantastic. I'm actually busy bugging it now, so I won't show you, but I'm hoping to make a good demo at the next options mechanics session, and maybe I'll arrange a roundtable with you early January. Yeah. And the guy on the so-called bigger platform is catching up, but I mean it's going to look okay. I mean the look and feel is going to be great, but I think on the sophistication, he's got a lot to put in from SOAP. SOAP is doing a lot of calculation, and I don't know how he's going to cope. I mean, it's a problem where the programmer doesn't really know what it's programming about. Yeah. Anyway, and yeah, my rhinos are quite easy. I mean, I've had 2 very good months, and now, of course, with the market shooting up, this current cycle. Maybe I should share my screen. Is that okay if I share it now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is my, can you see something?
It's loading.
Okay, all the way from Mauritius. It's a bit slow.
It's getting there.
Oh, really? Is it that slow?
Yeah, your audio's not 100%, so I don't know, maybe you've got a little bandwidth issue.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's
So
okay.
can you see something now?
Not yet. It still says Bruno has started screen sharing. It's still a black screen. Oh, it looks like it stopped. Oh, looks like Bruno dropped out.
Dropped me out.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, Zoom dropped me. I don't know. Let me try again.
Okay,
Sorry about this.
no problem. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So my November and December trades, I mean, I closed December quite a while ago for about 5-6%, which is good. And December, I didn't actually fight the runaway market on my own variant, which I call the regular variant. And I'm going to update the Rhino rules as soon as I've got time for that. I'm adding now small layers on the upside, and it's actually managed to catch up to some extent. And then when the market passed 3100, I stopped bothering. So now I'm just going for a break even, or of course, if the market reverses in the next few weeks, I'll make some money. But I'm not really fighting. I mean, it's not a great market for market neutral, and at least I think now I've got the hang of it. now when the market runs away like it did in 2017, the new rules actually do a much better job at keeping up with the market without being too aggressive. The Rhino is not a trade where one should go delta positive. So it's still a delta flat trade over the largest possible range, but at least it's safe, and it's gonna be a fairly good year overall. So can't complain. So this is the January trade, and I entered February not so long ago when there was that little vol pop, and so I entered for a very good price. So this one also, I mean, some people may think it looks like an RTT, but it's actually a Rhino. Just entered at the right time, and the upside risk is minimal. And again, the market started shooting up, and I had to scale into full size. And again, on this trade, I've already added one of those small layers. And because when the volatility drops, it's actually a good idea to, assuming you want to go for what I call a localized layer, so just to add theta in an area of your trade. It's good if you want to stick to brokering butterflies to reduce the wing size. They are far less sensitive to a vol drop. So, for example, if I show you my trade log on February, I just had the normal entry because the market shot up right after that. I think just 2 days after, which is unusual or not normal. And that's why I'm not going to be repeating my usual ranting about back tests, but in the last few years, we've had a lot more wild moves. I mean, if I remember when I started trading the Rhino and backtesting it I started really in 2015, and the backtest I got from Brian Larson at the time dated back to 2013, and I'd never seen an example where you had to scale in right after scaling to full size right after the entry. I mean, usually the trade builds up, stays roughly in the same area, and you have to have your delta built up, and then you can maybe think about an upside hedge. It looks like it never happens anymore. And I think in the last year, I don't think I ever had to put on a upside hedge in the form of a call calendar, and that's supposed to be the mainstream Rhino upside hedge. And because the delta never actually builds up, the market keeps running away. So maybe in the original Rhino, what I would call the decision tree, what kind of action you take according to either alert levels or price action or whatever. It was definitely incomplete. So that's why I've got a larger panel of possibilities, and I'm going to write new rules, which I believe will cover more, if not all, market conditions. So this trade is doing fine. And as I just mentioned, I just added a narrower broken butterfly, still on the put side, but now, instead of going 100/70 like I do for normal entry, this one was a 3100, 3150, no, 3025, 3100, 3150. So 75/50. So when you have capital and you want to add into the trade in low IV, I mean, not only it's much cheaper, but far less risky to go for a narrower combo. And it has proved in the last year or so that it's the way to go. And as a matter of fact, if I now we've the vol pop we had like 2 weeks ago came at the right time, but it's just fluke. I mean, it could have happened at any other time, and I could have entered my Rhino already. So if the IV environment is not really favorable, even for the normal entry, I would also suggest reducing the wing size on the main combo as you enter the new position. So this one is doing fine, and thanks to the good volt pop, I think yeah, as you can see from the per expression line, I got it at a very cheap price, and I've got basically upside risk, so that's fine. And maybe now that the upper longs are around 31.50, maybe this one, if the market stays in this range, maybe from 30.50 to 31.50, this one may, but it's now becoming more the exception, may see its delta slowly build up, and maybe I will then apply a regular upside hedge, which, as I said, I haven't done in a long time. Yeah, so those trades are doing fine, really, and that's a good thing because no risks, no stress, and I can really concentrate on my coding. I saw the chat box flashing, but I can't see it anymore. Are there any questions?
A couple of people were talking about
Hello?
the SOAP software.
Bruno, before you leave, I just have one question for you. How reliable do you think that bump in the T+0 line is? My experience when volatility is this low is that the software tends to overestimate that bump.
Looks like Bruno's internet might be a little shaky. Well, hopefully he'll pop back in with audio.
My connection dropped again. Yeah, sorry. But,
oh yeah, there you are. Did you hear Andrew's question?
No, but I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen, which actually Zoom did for me. But no, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. What was the question, Andrew?
Yeah. How reliable do you think that bump in the T+0 line is? Because my experience has been when volatility is this low, the software tends to overestimate how much that T+0 line rises to the downside.
Yes. Yeah. The skew is a little bit exaggerated. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But for my type of trading, and I'm not going to try sharing my screen again because definitely my connection is too poor. But for my type of trading, I have noticed that if you keep a delta to Vega ratio about 10%, so you keep your delta slightly negative, and of course, we all know that those Greeks change from, but so it's very much a local measure. But it can be good enough of 1 sigma for the next few days or for the next week. So if it's in that area, your trade will be stable, and even if you have a bit of a reversal and vol pop, at least it won't be as, your delta won't be as negative. You won't make money, but at least it will flatten and keep your T+0 actually flat. And at least if you have a sudden down move, and that measure, that delta Vega ratio is stable. Of course, it will go from 10% to 0 if the market drops by maybe 1 or 2 sigma. But at least you have 50, 60 point to really look at a more drastic measure, a drastic adjustment. So you won't have to adjust in a rush because you see your T+0 sinking. So it works with my trading style, and again, that works okay also because the Rhino always keeps some, even small, but some negative delta if possible. And of course, if you use call credit spreads to keep your delta negative, you will add Vega, so it will scrap your ratio. So I'm talking about a Rhino style trade on the put side. Yeah. So delta Vega ratio about 10%. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There were a couple of questions in the chat about SOAP. I don't know if you saw those. Now you're not sharing your
No.
screen. You should be able to see it easier.
Okay, where's that? I see Marcus. But that's what we're just. No, I think I've lost the earlier question. I can't see them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you got rejoined, I guess. Thomas asked,
Yeah.
I tested SOAP using the IB demo was not working. I think you should have a presentation on how to set it up. Do you have any videos on setting up SOAP?
Yes. There are videos on my YouTube channel, and I do all my testing on the IB demo account. So the only thing you you need to, of course, you need to have data subscriptions, which I have for my live account. But I think you must go to account management and allow the sharing so that you have exactly the same data environment on your demo account. It doesn't come by default that if you have a demo account and your live account, you don't necessarily have the same data subscriptions available to the demo account. There's something to take off on the account management. I can't remember what that is, but yeah, I think that's on that I haven't covered on my videos, but I can certainly do that, of course. Yes.
Okay, and maybe you could post your YouTube channel URL in the chat just so everybody has it, and I'll put it with the meeting recording.
Yes. What is my YouTube channel? I think I've got. Where is that? I think I've got a tiny URL somewhere. Yeah. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
So,
great.
So yeah, I'm quite happy about my calculations. I still have to improve on the margin calculations. It's a bit complicated. So I've done a rough estimate of margin, and it's okay. But the CBOE rules are quite tedious to implement. I don't know how other platforms do it, but so I think it's just a numerical approximation everybody does. But so I will probably stick to what I'm doing. Yeah.
I think the brokers have their own calculation, so there's probably not one
Yeah.
official one that you can use.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And portfolio margining will be more difficult. It's actually not too difficult to work out the margin requirement for individual adjustment, but IB provides tools for that, but they don't provide tools for your whole strategy. So you're back to square one.
So I know you were working on the big project. Any updates on that, timelines or progress or whatever?
Last demo I've seen, the look and feel is definitely better than my tool. I mean, I had no intention of going that far with SOAP. So yeah, the graphics are great. The strike selection and your simulation or existing trades look a little bit like TOS. The good thing that you won't see on any other platform is that, although not many would use it, is that you can mix symbols. You can actually put anything. You can have a SPX, broken butterfly, and an SPY, call credit spread, and be short the everything, and it's the portfolio and the strategies inside the portfolio are very well organized, and you can even have a full look of your portfolio strategies. So it's done a great job. That background, I would say, back office stuff. But the modeling to me is not up to speed. There are things I've implemented in SOAP that he hasn't. I mean, maybe I'm too, but like for example, for European options, I have a way of canceling the dividend effect by using something called a UDIV from Steve Spear. I'm using put call parity and all those things. And that's going to take a while for him to implement all the smart stuff I've coded. Yeah. But it's coming on. It's coming on. He's very, very slow. He's very, very particular. But at least I've seen a demo. So, yeah. So that's
So maybe by
I've said so many times that it would take another few weeks or month. I hate making kind of promises or creating expectations, but yeah, I've seen I would say almost an alpha, and also there's something that I mentioned some long time ago, and he's working on that. Is that the software will allow for a timeline. So, for example, you want to go back in time and cancel an adjustment or a few adjustments and see how it looks today. That's something I've also coded in, so it will be easy. I mean, on option view or one, you can cancel the adjustments of the day, or you have to go back to a trade log and using the R column, or it's complicated. That will be very visual. You will have a timeline with which will be actually something a lot more visual than the normal trade log, and you can just switch on, switch off what you want to see. How your adjustments or your scaling in and out, how it has impacted your trade. So on the visual side, it's done a good job. I'm just not too happy about the essence of it yet, but it's gonna be right. I would say another month for me to be able to show you something. But yeah, he's really working hard now. He works about 6.5 days a week. So at least he's putting his weight. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we look forward to it, and hopefully it'll be ready by the time the option view subscription renews in April. So
the downside is that although he said he's done proper coding to separate the broker's API from the software itself, it's going to be difficult in the current state to just plug in a TOS API and then no. I mean, there are a number of features which are very IB specific. So I don't want to make promises, and even less so about a TOS version.
yeah, I mean, maybe you could have like a data engine that connects to the brokers, and the data engine feeds stuff to the software. It's in a uniform way. Who knows? That's
For
his call. Yeah.
For the data feed itself, yes, but because he now also looks at the whole portfolio, everything you have on your account, and you can calculate, your risk profile for everything. So all the advanced features will be very, very much IB specific. But we'll get there. Yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
also, I is now releasing a REST API, which is the same protocol that TOS is using. So at least for the order management and data itself, that part will be easy. So maybe there will be a subset or a more, I would say, a linear version of the software without all the portfolio stuff for TOS. But let's get the IB version out first. Yeah.